I hope everyone who made it in this morning wasn't too triggered by the National Guardsmen on your sidewalks and your metro stops. In fairness, and we can be bipartisan here, Democrats and journalists aren't wrong when they say armed soldiers and police on city streets can be scary. They are scary to criminals. That's the point. In a civilized society, criminals are supposed to be scared. Any kind of criminal. Drug dealers, carjackers, James Comey, you know what I mean? Now, before we begin, I wanted to follow the example of a recent DNC summer meeting by opening our time together with a land acknowledgement. Please bow your heads. We acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the traditional lands of the Republican establishment, who opened borders, started wars, and betrayed working families here for generations. We remember their contributions to globalization and tearing down the sovereignty of our country and its people, and solemnly commit to never listening to them about anything ever again. Thank you, that was very meaningful. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a new experience for me. It's exciting, if a little disorienting, and I don't mean speaking here at NatCon, I mean living every day under a president who is actually doing the things I voted for. My entire adult life, I have listened to Republican leaders make all of the right promises. On immigration, the administrative state, peace through strength, ending abortion, you name it, only to see those promises ignored or broken. For 12 years working on Capitol Hill, I had a front row seat to a generation of Republican surrender. Year after year, issue after issue, fight after fight, the message from the establishment elites was always the same. Next time. Stop the border invasion? Next time. Cut spending? Next time. Defund the left? Definitely next time. So my friends, welcome to next time. The last 7 months under Donald Trump have repudiated once and for all the self-serving, craven, long game of the Republican establishment. Contrary to a generation of failed GOP leaders, you really can just do things. After decades of an unchecked invasion, our southern border is secure. ICE Director Tom Homan's enforcement strategy is so successful that it's already reshaping the labor market. Over the last 4 months, native-born Americans have gained 2.6 million jobs, and foreign-born workers have lost 1.6 million. You can just do things. Thousands of once untalented bureaucrats have been fired. Thousands more have taken the buyouts to leave voluntarily. Bobby Kennedy fired the entire corrupt advisory committee for immunization practices. No study. Not after 3 years of contemplation. No blue ribbon commission. Gone. Fired. USAID. Gone. I sat in my office and watched them take down the sign. It was surreal. DEI is now illegal in federal offices and contractors and universities. Planned Parenthood and NPR are cut off. The Department of Education is being shut down. The old chestnut that every Republican in my lifetime has run on doing, but never did. 3 NatCons ago, I told a member of the audience to stop asking for the Department of Education to be shut down because it never would be. And I was wrong. It's happening. And why? Because it turns out you can just do things. Donald Trump is the first Republican ever to seriously try and dismantle the federal government as a left-wing power base. Previous Republicans took the oath and then they just sat atop a system designed to undermine them without making any significant change. In that sense, I suppose Donald Trump really is the living embodiment of what can be unburdened by what has been. I guess we finally know what that means now. Only time will tell how much he accomplishes, but if you want any indication about its success so far, consider that since President Trump took up his sledgehammer, the Democrat Party's net approval rating has fallen 30 points underwater. They're heading into the midterms with a platform against safe streets, civil rights, and hot chicks in jeans. Keep swinging, Mr. President. But more importantly, keep swinging NatCons. As satisfying as the last 7 months have been, what comes next will be far more important for our movement and for our country. Now, don't get me wrong, more than once this year I have Googled, is it possible to die of Schadenfreude? But after the right's stunning winning streak in 2025, it's not enough for us to say, this is what I voted for. From now on, this needs to be the only thing we will ever vote for ever again. And don't listen to the establishment or the media. For all his unique style, Donald Trump is not sui generis. His populist politics, nationalist vision, and permanent offense strategy need to become the baseline for Republican presidential candidates from now on. No more kid gloves, no more polite Republicans who crave social acceptance on the editorial pages of the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. And no more Republicans who misunderstand the stakes of what we're up against. An amoral elite that will use every inch of their institutional power to impoverish and disenfranchise their countrymen, jail and bankrupt their political opponents, and shower our money on every foreign interest that lines their wallets. This is important for 2 reasons. First, because the work of re-Americanizing the federal government is going to take more than 3.5 years to complete. The left's march through the institutions lasted decades, and so will America's exorcism of them. And second, because reports of the Republican establishment's demise are greatly exaggerated. Susan Collins still chairs the Appropriations Committee. Mitch McConnell, the Rules Committee and the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. Neocons are still stalling realist foreign policy nominations and, together with K Street, quietly steering policy back toward Bush-Cheney-Romneyism. Congressional Republicans are openly talking about bringing back earmarks and amnesty for illegal immigrants. They want to protect the establishment from Trump instead of protecting America from the establishment. And if we let them, if we let up, they will succeed. And we know this because we've been here before. 35 years ago, the conservative movement won its defining victory over Soviet communism. The wall came down, the evil empire disbanded, the West's long twilight struggle was over. 40 years of Cold War promises came due about peace, the peace dividend, and reorientation of American policy back toward our nation and our people. Yet within months of the right's global generational mission accomplished, a Republican president declared a new world order, took us to war in the Middle East, and signed the North American Free Trade Agreement. Everyday conservatives who delivered Republicans landslides for decades looked on as the backseat drivers of our coalition, Wall Street elites, neoconservatives, and corporate libertarians, took the wheel. A bipartisan uniparty formed and entrenched itself while delivering voters, at best, less than what they voted for, and at worst, the opposite of what they voted for. The timely tactics of 1980s fusionism ossified into dogma and then into political irrelevance. A generation of supposedly wise, prudent leaders steered our party, our nation, and much of the West into the culture-shredding maelstrom of globalism, intersectionality, and American empire. If we don't think it could happen again, we can rest assured that it will, because just like Nixon and Reagan's coalition a generation ago, today's MAGA majority is already attracting allies whose personal, political, and philosophical goals are irreconcilable with ours, and not just in the Washington establishment. There are debates coming very quickly that will challenge our new coalition. Debates over drone technology, over eugenics dressed up as reproductive technology, and over algorithmically empowered commercial mass surveillance performed at a scope and scale we have never before witnessed, and at a cost we have only just begun to contemplate. But the most pressing of these debates is over artificial intelligence. Specifically, whether AI will innovate us to a more efficient and secure future or result in a technology-driven totalitarianism. These debates are foundational to the conservative movement. They will determine whether this new American conservative coalition will remain American or conservative at all. Now, like everyone else in this room, I'm grateful to the tech right for being part of the coalition that elected Donald Trump. I commend President Trump for drawing Silicon Valley's anti-woke disruptors into his campaign last year. I support the administration, including Vice President Vance, for their confident but clear-eyed policy toward the new technology. Moreover, I get it. So-called techno-optimists are cool. They offer to the right an alluring frisson of subversive edge and intellectual swagger. But in techno-optimism, as in all human endeavors, the line between confidence and hubris, between ambition and horror, can be very thin. The so-called transhumanist movement, the belief that technology can enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capacities beyond current human limitations, is on the other side of that line. AI raises important and difficult questions about public policy, about children and families, about labor and education and economic competitiveness. It raises profound and fundamental questions about human dignity and the care and stewarding of the soul. Transhumanism also raises important questions, just not difficult ones. Transhumanism isn't cool. It's not interesting. It is an existential threat to human dignity straight from the buffetic boardrooms of hell. Nor, and let's be very clear, is transhumanism new. It's stale and boring. It's literally one of the oldest recorded ideas in the world. And I quote, "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods." Today's post-humanism and genetic optimization and bioenhancement cults are just yesterday's eugenics, child sacrifice, and euthanasia, this time with VC backing. We don't need to speculate about how these technologies would be used. They'll be used to exterminate supposedly inferior children, like those with Down syndrome, flat feet, or in time, the wrong color hair or eyes. They'll be used to spare the conscience of middle-aged children and government health budgets from the burdens of caring for the elderly permanently. They'll be used to manipulate, exploit, and abuse children because naturally, Facebook's AI chatbot was already caught grooming kids. This tech will be used to scale the manufacturing and re-engineering of helpless human life for the self-care routines of the glamorous and the powerful. And here you thought the tech right was only bad on H-1B visas. The transhumanist cult directly rejects the truth about human dignity, our Creator, and the exquisite and unrepeatable Imago Dei imprinted on every human soul. The problems with transhumanism are legion, and I mean that in every possible sense of the word. And on a personal note, let me just say, as a piece of advice to any of the young, very online tech-right men here today, if you are at all intrigued by the idea of gene-optimizing, bio-augmented, lab-grown CRISPR babies, throw away your phones and talk to more girls. I love you all. Conservatism is about human dignity and human flourishing. By definition, there is no such thing as a transhuman conservative. But lest anyone misunderstand or misstate the point, conservatives should not cower in a Luddite crouch. We have a future to win. AI is going to be a powerful and transformative tool, and we should be encouraging its appropriate development here at home and staying ahead of America's foreign adversaries in this space. And By the way, all of this must be done with the necessary civil liberties protections that ensure our cool and edgy defense contractor friends don't blow away the Fourth Amendment. AI research? Yes. AI-enabled data analysis, healthcare, transportation, absolutely. AI is going to be the defining problem-solving technology of the 21st century. But human dignity is not a problem to be solved. And as for man's fallen nature, we already have a solution for that, too. He died on a cross outside Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. None of this is to say we must read tech bros or AI engineers out of the conservative coalition. No, we want them. We should want all of them. Politics is about addition, and to win the fights ahead of us against the left, the establishment, and the billionaire transhumanist screwtapes, the right needs to get very good at politics. Short-term alliances are necessary, but conservatives, as you know, have just clawed our way out of one dead fusionism. We cannot be doe-eyed about entering another. As with any political alliance, we must be wise as serpents and as innocent as doves, as the Gospel of Matthew tells us. Or, as Michael Anton might put it, we must be Machiavellian in our coalition building and ruthless in protecting our values. Conservatives cannot outsource our mission because we know from painful experience that no one else shares it, including many of our most powerful allies on Wall Street, K Street, and in the military-industrial complex or in Silicon Valley. We must constantly strive to grow our coalition while remembering that it is our coalition. And coalitions are only means, not ends. We pursue the good, the beautiful, and the true, not the donors, the stakeholders, and the consultants. This is what we fought for all those years under Bush and Dole and Bush and Cheney and Romney and McConnell, the chance to fight and to win, the chance to lead. It's finally here. For the first time in our lives, the success or failure of our coalition at home and abroad on economic, foreign, and social policy is up to us. It's up to you. The right is growing. The left is cracking up. The country and our culture are healing. Across the West, brave conservative leaders are standing up and fighting back for their faith, for their freedom, for their neighbors, nations, and in service to the Burkean covenant between those who have gone before, those who are here, and those who are yet to come. My friends, welcome to NatCon, and welcome to next time.